This is the Vivo X300 Ultra, one of the best camera phones of 2026. I have been using it for several weeks now, and I have plenty to say. Is it really as good as the reviews claim? Or is it actually a niche device that's not for everyone? Let's figure it out. Alright friends, let's go.
Hey friends, this video was translated using AI, so the sound quality isn't the best. If you prefer watching the original video, just follow the link in the description.
The Vivo X300 Ultra comes in this signature box. What's inside? Besides the smartphone itself, the kit includes a charger, a cable, and even a silicone case. I should note that I have the Chinese version. The global one might differ in what's included. Let's go over the smartphone design. The back cover is made of glass, the frame is aluminum, and the signature camera puck has become slightly larger. In this generation, Vivo has pulled it out a bit more. Also, another change worth noting is that they have finally removed the extra button from the side of the smartphone. To be honest, I never understood its purpose and didn't use it at all. In terms of protection, the smartphone is excellent. It combines IP68 and IP69 standards, meaning we get full dust protection, protection against immersion in water at 1 to 3 meters, and protection against powerful high-pressure water jets. I must say that we have already compared this Vivo in photo and video tests, as well as in performance, battery life, and other specs with its predecessor Samsung S26 Ultra and iPhone 17 Pro Max, as well as with Oppo Find X9 Ultra and Xiaomi 17 Ultra. All links to these reviews will be in the description. And in this video, we will go over the Vivo more briefly and compactly. Let's talk about the screen. The smartphone features a 6.82-inch LTPO AMOLED display with a resolution of 1440 by 3168 pixels and a refresh rate of up to 144 Hz. The manufacturer claims a peak HDR brightness of up to 4,500 nits. However, it is important to understand that this figure is achieved under special laboratory conditions and only in specific content display scenarios. Under normal indoor measurement at maximum brightness without special conditions, the result is significantly lower, in our case 328 nits. Visually, the image is very pleasant and vibrant. Compared to previous Vivo generations, X300 Pro and X200 Ultra, it is slightly more contrasty, but otherwise there seem to be no differences. As far as PWM is concerned, the Vivo X300 Ultra performed very well. Depending on the brightness level, the flicker value in tests fluctuated from approximately 3 to 4% at minimum values and up to 9% at peaks. These are truly very good indicators, especially compared to many competitors. At most brightness levels, the screen remains comfortable for even the most sensitive eyes. Let's talk about how this flagship camera phone performs. But before that, it is worth mentioning what the technical specs are actually like. Vivo X300 Ultra got a 50-megapixel ultra-wide lens with an f2.0 aperture, a 1.5x main camera at 35mm, and a 200-megapixel one with an f1.85 aperture, and also a 3.7x 200-megapixel telephoto lens. The zoom here is overall top tier, both in photos and in video. Even at night with high zoom, the smartphone delivers decent quality. Legibility of text and detail processing are generally top-notch. The photo zoom is especially impressive. Here, the Vivo X300 Ultra truly shows a very high level. 8K recording also deserves praise. Now it is available on all 3 lenses, and even with up to 20x zoom. Macro photography traditionally remains one of the strongest sides of Vivo flagships, and this smartphone is no exception. At such a high level of zoom that many competitors would envy, the quality turns out to be simply gorgeous. In terms of photography, the smartphone can be praised for very high quality and natural shots of people at almost any zoom level and in different lighting conditions. Color reproduction on the X300 Ultra is also pleasing. There are plenty of color settings here, both in photo mode and video recording, where we can apply color correction directly to the recording even in 4K resolution at 60 frames per second. Out of all the devices we've tested, no other modern competitor has such an option. Regarding photography, Vivo can offer both bright, saturated shots in the vivid profile and neutral, natural results in the refined mode, which was previously called natural. I should also note that in the new update, Vivo added a horizon lock feature to the smartphone, just like on the Samsung S26 Ultra. This is a really effective tool that confidently holds the image even when rotating the smartphone 360 degrees. No other Chinese competitors or predecessors have a feature like this. It is also worth noting the new updated Pro mode. A more advanced interface has appeared here, simulating a professional camera with new tools, false color, audio level control, quick access to manual focus, and 2 recording profiles, SDR and log. Also, the new Vivo received the APV codec, which was not present in its predecessors. Overall, in terms of camera usability, the number of settings, and the variety of presets and features, Vivo outperforms most competitors, for example, when talking about Chinese photo flagships. Only Vivo can offer us filters that work very interestingly and can change the season and time of day in a photograph. And as for the controversial points, we should include the signature aggressive image processing characteristic of many Chinese smartphones. Yes, at high zooms this helps make the image look visually sharper, but details can be noticeably distorted in the process, especially when we are talking about text and numbers. Also, for me personally, the decision to make the main camera 35mm remains inconvenient. This level of zoom doesn't allow for comfortable landscape shots, time lapses, or even portrait videos, for example. You can use the ultra-wide lens, which is strong on the Vivo, but in low light, it clearly loses to the 1x cameras of its competitors. I should also note that the Vivo X300 Ultra still doesn't provide any significant advantage over its predecessors in terms of the overall shooting experience. There is no noticeable progress in dynamic range in challenging conditions, front camera stabilization is still weak, and shaking is visible even when walking, let alone running. Also, the smartphone is still actively being updated and refined, and even after several weeks, it still feels like an unfinished device. There is also something to say about this smartphone's AI features. When it comes to removing objects from photos, the Vivo X300 Ultra performs inconsistently. The smartphone identifies objects very accurately, but the quality of the generative fill itself is questionable. For example, fingers are sometimes rendered incorrectly or artifacts from a removed object remain. It is also important to talk about the power of the flagship Vivo. The smartphone is equipped with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 with Adreno 840 graphics. We conducted performance tests in Antutu, Geekbench, and 3D Mark, and also performed a throttling test. Vivo X300 Ultra proved to be a very powerful flagship in all scenarios. The smartphone consistently delivers high performance, passes tests quickly, and handles long-term loads with confidence. It has become noticeably more powerful than its predecessors, yet I wouldn't say that it heats up any more actively. The throttling test is worth noting separately. Vivo X300 Ultra almost always reduces performance gradually, in steps, without aggressive sharp drops and spikes. What can I say regarding internet speed? We tested the smartphone on a home Wi-Fi network at 600 megabits and on a mobile 5G network. I should note right away that during the Wi-Fi testing, it was not being loaded by other devices or tasks, and the router was in the next room, through 2 concrete walls. The test was conducted several times, and in the final results I recorded the best figures of 225 megabits for download and 195 for upload. These are very good figures in our conditions. In a 5G network test in Spain, the new Vivo delivers 737 megabits for download and 121 for upload. This means even the Chinese version of the Vivo can deliver excellent internet speeds in Europe. A few words about the speakers. I wouldn't call them a strong point for Vivo. In contrast to the Galaxy S26 Ultra and iPhone 17 Pro Max, the sound here seems flatter. That is, the sound itself is not bad, but it's not the best on the market. And what about the battery life? X300 Ultra received a silicon carbon battery with 6,600 mAh. Wired charging is a whopping 100 watts, wireless is 40, and there is also reverse charging. Speaking of practical use, Vivo confidently beats both the Samsung S26 Ultra and iPhone 17 Pro Max in remaining battery life when filming video and photos, but it falls behind the Oppo Find X9 Ultra, Xiaomi 17 Ultra, and even the Vivo X300 Pro. Well then friends, let's wrap things up. To start, a few words about the price. When I bought it for myself, the Chinese Vivo X300 Ultra in the 512GB version cost me about 1,175 euros. And now you can find the Chinese version of the Vivo X300 Ultra with 512GB starting from approximately 1,167 euros. Why haven't I gotten the global version yet? Well, the thing is, in Europe, you can't buy the Vivo X300 Ultra separately. They only sell it in bundles. The minimum kit starts from 1,700 euros, and the version with a photo kit is 2,400 euros. I am actually interested in the photo kit itself, and I would love to test it out, but I am not ready to buy it for that much money. In my opinion, for entering the European market, this is a very strange and poorly thought out decision. The smartphone is already quite niche, especially for a brand that is not that common in this region, and with these specs and prices, the global version becomes even less appealing to the buyer. If I were to summarize the smartphone itself, I would say that this camera phone is more for enthusiasts rather than the mass market. In photos, it is strong with portraits thanks to the cool 35mm main camera, a large number of settings, presets, and AI filters. Here you can really get creative, experiment, and dive headfirst into the camera settings. And in video, Vivo is also rich in interesting modes and features. But there are some nuances. The front camera is still extremely sad in terms of stabilization, and 35mm on the main camera isn't always convenient for regular filming of myself, for landscape photos or time lapses, which I personally love to record. This is a powerful and interesting but quite specific camera phone, but in terms of shooting convenience, I am closer to, for example, the Vivo X300 Pro or even the Vivo X100 Ultra. And what do you think of this Ultra flagship from Vivo? Write your opinion in the comments. Subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications for our channel. And bye-bye everyone.